Hey folks, thanks for stopping in. We have here the illustrious number 1000 video. So I've got like 999 videos of my junk jammed in here. I think I'm just going to put this video kind of at the top of the channel so people know what this is and that kind of stuff. Just give you a brief overview of what we have on here. The Royal We. I put everything in playlists because I like to organize things that way. So essentially what you'll see on here is a combination of 3 or 4 different things. One is going to be like Pathfinder games that I run online. I play on Fantasy Grounds, VTT, and I use for Discord for voice. So this is my Lankamar game. We're running session 24 on Monday night. We play bi-weekly. It's been a pretty fun game. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I'm quite pleased the way it's turning out. We're at session 24 right now. I can imagine we'll probably get up to around session 50 before I might have to take a little break and throw some things together for the adventure. So what I do is basically I take an adventure from either AD&D or 3.5 or Pathfinder, and I integrate it into the city of Lankamar, which is an old setting from the 80s and 90s, the old TSR days. The first one that I ran is one of the introductory adventure was the one of the 10th level adventures, and they had like these modules that had like 3 or 4 adventures in each one, and they're all pretty high level stuff, but I boiled it down to its basic elements and used it as an introductory adventure. I was going to use it as a Halloween one shot, but some stuff happened, some family stuff happened, and I didn't get a chance to do it that Halloween, but I kept it in the background, and then I built a little campaign off of it, using some adventures. Plundering Pop-Off was an adventure from Dungeon Magazine, as was Stage Fright was a little side quest from Dungeon Magazine. The Mad God's Key was an adventure from the World of Greyhawk in Dungeon Magazine. We did some kind of homebrewy kind of stuff I threw together for the Forbidden Temple of Tiara from one of the old Fritz Lieber stories. And then I have another adventure from, it's kind of like a big dungeon adventure from Dungeon Magazine in the early 2000s. Just actually the very first big adventure for the very first adventure path published in Dungeon Magazine. So that's what I'm doing for that. The other campaign that I run for Pathfinder online is weekly on Thursdays. It is the Rise of the Rune Lords. We call it the Curse of the Rune Lords because we never seem to finish it, no matter how many times we've started it, all the different players. We're up to, I think, like the 3rd episode of Skinsaw Murders. So we're moving right along. Pretty soon we'll be into the middle of the adventure and then the end. Probably about 13 or so adventures for each book. So with that in mind, it'd probably be up to, what is 6 times 15? No, it'd probably be between 70 and 90 different episodes before we finally finish. Probably take us another couple years. I've got an old adventure that I don't think this counts as my uploads list, but this was an interesting one too. I've tried to run an adventure in the world of Greyhawk and Strebo. If you ever get a chance to give his site or his channel a check out, some good stuff on there. Was one of the players in it, and he kindly recorded this for me because my old computer wasn't good enough to do both. We got up to like part 10. I was running the old adventure, the Sentinel from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. The intent was to run that and then mold in the Keep on the Borderlands, and then end it with the Gauntlet, and then go from the Gauntlet to whatever the players latched onto, either the Lost City. I was going to have them either like teleport into the Sea of Dust. I think I've got the map right here on my wall. Should probably just look at it. I think it was the Sea of Dust. I was going to put the Sea of Dust. I was going to put the set the Lost City in there, or I was get into like Clark Ashton Smith writing and stuff like that. So if you're familiar, then you'll know that Castle Amber, the old X designation module, the old expert module, I think it goes X1, Chateau d'Amberville, was based on his work. It's going to have the players teleport there into Averoigne and have to find their way out through Castle Amber as opposed to the other way. And then have them finish with an expedition to the Barrier Peaks. But we didn't get that far. We didn't even get to Keep on the Borderlands yet. So that's where that one petered out. And then a lot of my other stuff is just games that I play online. CRPG, I like to play Kingmaker and The Wrath of the Righteous. I've done two specifically that I'm pretty proud of. This one here, The Worst Let's Play, Pathfinder Kingmaker. In Last Aslanti mode, I played it all the way through on old like compact computer from like the early 2010s that was getting like maybe 10 frames a minute on, or 10 frames a second. It felt like 10 frames a minute sometimes, 10 frames a second with the recordings and stuff like that. It wasn't as choppy as all hell, and you didn't have any control over where the mouse went. But I finished it in Last Aslanti mode. There is an episode 64 or 63. I got killed by a bunch of Nixies in a section that I just wasn't prepared for. And then I started over again. Same NPCs, everything. And Last Aslanti played myself back up to the same point. And then I continued. And actually finished Kingmaker on normal settings. So there was normal enemy damage, normal enemy strength. So basically core rules, except for they didn't extend the number of enemies. And I had what's the mode where your character doesn't die outright after he dies in the combat, but he crippling wounds or whatever it is. So I had that mode on, so I wasn't constantly resurrecting people. But other than that, I finished it on Last Aslanti mode. And then I thought I'd try it again on Last Aslanti mode with my new computer, and I got all the way to episode 110, which is roughly I'd say just over halfway. I just finished Season of the Bloom and was just getting into the next session when the Akandeo quest came up, the one where you have to chase after him. He's run off with his lady friend and they're killing giants. So Akandeo dies and my playthrough ends. I was grossed with that because I felt like I had a pretty good chance of taking it all the way, finishing last Aslanti mode multiple times. So I started again, and I called this one. So the first one we called it the penultimate Aslanti mode, and this one here I called the annoyed Aslanti mode, and I got all the way to 3/4 of the way through it, probably like just before the War of the River Kings, just after the Rushlight tournament ended, and a expertly crafted gold golem took me out. And I thought I was pretty much indestructible at that point, but last Aslanti mode, anything can happen at any time. But the premise of this one was, instead of having the companion quests, I got rid of them all as quickly as I could, so I only had like Lindsay and Tristan left over. And that way I couldn't get dragged off into any companion quest that would end the playthrough prematurely. So that went pretty well, except for this little bit. Just pretty much just validates how difficult this playthrough was. The worst Let's Play. The other one, I'm playing Wrath of the Righteous now. I'm calling it Discount Aslanti mode because I've already died once. I had a TPK just a little while ago in Winter Sun. It's a tough area. I'm going to try to finish that. So that's what I'll be working on for the CRPG playthroughs. Also, in the past, I've taken the same team of mercenaries that I'm using in all of these videos through Icewind Dale and the Temple of Elemental Evil. So I own those games. I might revisit it at some point. The other thing I do on this channel is I put the videos of my baseball games that I play. So Dynasty League Baseball, it is... Let's see here. It used to be we used to play face to face in a league that I'm in. We've been in the league I've been in it since the 90s. It's been around since the 80s. It's a local league in Hamilton. So this website, basically what it is you get a card for every player based on their last year's performance, and then you set your team up against either the computer's version or if you're in a league, another player's version, and you play out a whole season. So that's what these are. So this was the very first video that I ever put up, was this one here. We didn't really know what I was doing with the names and stuff like that. So basically what I do is, to practice for an upcoming season, I'll set up my whole team, and then I'll set up a bunch of teams that I'm interested in seeing what they're like, and I'll play like a little exhibition schedule against them with the computer manager running their team. So all of this was just me experimenting with that and experimenting with making my first videos. I didn't have sound, I didn't have a microphone that worked or anything like that. This is just the raw footage of the game on my old computer, so it might be a little choppy and slow. And it's since worked out to be so I call that the Grapenut League. So I've got 1, 2, 3 seasons of that, and then when I was particularly excited about my team, I had my team play games against my team again. So basically, I had enough players to have a team of old guys and a team of young guys, and I played them against one another. And then we've got the regular game action, which is recordings of all my different seasons, 2021, 2022, 2023. And then I've got my best games list. So the games that are the most interest to me. I don't know if they're not the most watched. These are the games that I'll go back and saves me from having to dig up where they were. So, like, say for instance, this one here, in one of these exhibition finals kind of thing, this team here, the Clubbers, was probably the best offensive team in our league. And spoiler alert, Merrill Kelly no hit them. So that was kind of cool. So in case I want to see that. And then, like, during the regular action in 2021, my team had their first no-hitter in 25 years. So it's kind of cool that I had a recording of that. And the other stuff is just stuff that interests me, like John Lester's final game. And I had a pretty epic collapse where I didn't make the playoffs one year and I lost a bunch of games in extra innings. So that's on there. A couple things like that. So basically that is what this is. Just recordings of games that I play. I don't feel like storing them on my computer, so just upload them to YouTube and then I can watch them whenever I want. Most of these, like, subscribers and stuff like that, I don't know exactly who is subscribing and liking. I imagine it's probably like the players in my actual play games and probably the guys in my baseball league. I know that there's a few other people who enjoy these videos too and hit like and all that stuff, so that's pretty cool. I'll never ever ask anyone to, like, subscribe or hit like and stuff like that. This is mostly just for me, for storing my videos. I'm glad that other people enjoy it. That's kind of cool. And I'll probably keep making videos. It'll probably be another 1,000 over the next 3 years or so. This very first video, it doesn't tell you the date, but I remember specifically it was Christmas Eve 2022 or 2020, pardon me. So it was height of the pandemic. Nobody's having Christmas parties. Not that I go anyway, but I was just trying to figure out how to do screen caps and stuff like that, and how to make how to save the games, just in case. I wanted to learn how to edit. Basically, is what I wanted to do. And my machine couldn't handle it, so it just turned into recordings, which became just as interesting to me as anything else. The editing really doesn't do it for me now. I'm not really that interested in putting anything all that polished together. I have a rough idea of how to do it, and if I needed to, I probably could. But yeah, like, I usually I'm going to be playing through the Wrath of the Righteous. I'm going to try to finish it. So that'll be another, what am I at, like 60 now? Probably another 60 to 80 videos of 1 to 3 hours. And then, like I say, probably about another 25 videos for Lankamar, and probably another 60 or 70 videos for the Rise of the Rune Lords. And then every year I'm going to have my Hits Baseball League games. Is generally between 100 and 114 videos. Some years, like last year, I had a pinched nerve in my neck, so I had to get the computer manager to play some games. I'd always try to, if anyone's following along, try to do recaps if I wasn't able to actually record the games. So there's those. And then I'm looking forward to running my Grapenut League again this year. There is, I've got a decent team and I've got a real good chance to make the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to. I'm going to face off against other Grapenut League favorites like the Miami Vice. Be making another appearance. My friend Tim's got a real good team. Maybe one of the favorites. Probably do the defending champion, two-time defending champion. Not too often a team goes back-to-back in our league, but the Houston Heroes will probably make the first round of Grapenut League teams that I'll play against. And the third one, I'll probably put Amax team, Seattle Storm. He's got a real good team. Probably the favorite to win it all. And I'll see how my team stacks up against them. And then I'll probably mix it in against some other teams that are on the more normal scale like my own. They'll probably be fighting for playoff spots, see how I measure up against their lineups and stuff like that. And it also gives me a bit of an advantage, too, because I can see what their players are like, how the computer sets up their cards and stuff like that. So I'll probably wind up playing between 20 and 60 games for the Grapenut League, and then you get like between 100 and 120 games for a regular season for the Hits League. So that'll be every year. I was actually thinking about, for the Hits League, I've talked about this in the past, trying to learn how to, it can't be that hard. It's just hitting some buttons and stuff like that. Maybe play the games live and record them live. I was thinking we could have the other player sign in. We can make a Discord channel for it. And we could have like a chat room for the two managers who are playing, so you could hear us like talk shit to one another, or just banter back and forth, or talk shit about the rest of the league, or just talk about other random things that we enjoy and stuff like that. Because really, we're playing games and other than the little text chat room, you really don't really get much of a personality of who's playing and stuff like that. And other than following along and having me shoot my mouth off during the whole game, sometimes I'll just go real quiet because we're just trying to get through it. So I thought it might be interesting if we could play some games live, and then like the rest of the league, if they're interested. Because I always know that there's some games that everyone wants to watch. Because I know we'll all go to our league site, the Dynasty site, and once you're in there, I haven't signed up yet, so I can't get in there and poke around and show you. But you can kind of see games in action by checking the box score while it's in motion, while it's being played. So I always know that there's always a handful of guys who are checking out like big series, important games and stuff like that. And they'll wind up posting updates into our WhatsApp group. But if we had like a chat on like Discord, you could have one of the voice chats be the actual two managers who are playing the game, so you didn't get any outside interference or any suggestions or anybody getting distracted by an outside. And then you could have another chat just be like the bleachers, where the other people who are watching the game could watch and then chat amongst themselves about what's going on. So I thought about having that, and then once the live game was over, then I would just save the recording of that and then upload that to the playlist for that season. So other than that idea, everything's pretty much as it's going to be. Without, like, maybe I might play the Temple of Elemental Evil all the way through. I played the fuck out of that when it came out in like 2000 or 2001, 2 or 3, something like that. I had it down pat where I got the two big weapons, or the one weapon, but I figured it out so I could get both of them There's supposed to be a weapon, and then you're supposed to get a duplicate of it. So I had it figured out so I could get both. And then we killed IUs and St. Cuthbert just for shits and giggles. So I had that. There was that. And you can play that in Iron Man mode too, which is the equivalent of Last Islante, which is the equivalent of hardcore. You die, it's over. And then I also thought maybe I might play Icewind Dale again, but that was one of the first ones that I ever played and finished and thought, wow, that was a slog. That was really... Getting all the way through that felt like an accomplishment, whereas getting all the way through the original Baldur's Gate was kind of like fun. You know? We got to getting to the end of... I loved Icewind Dale, because I loved making up my own party members as opposed to having to pick up companions along the way. That's the appeal of those two games to me, as opposed to... I really like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, but you always get stuck with who you choose along the way as opposed to who you made up. So that was the impetus of my little mercenary gamut for Kingmaker and the Wrath of the Righteous, which is why I have them over and over and over again. So I might do those again. And I don't know. I don't think there'll be any other games that I see coming out that really interest me all that much. But yeah, my baseball usually starts around Christmas. Usually I think the cards usually go online around the 20th. By the time I set the league up, get all my teams put aside, finish the schedule. It's usually Christmas Eve-ish, give or take a day or two. And then I'll play my team for, a few weeks to a month or a month and a half till I get a real good handle on what I have, what I need, what the other teams have, that kind of stuff. And then I'll put it away, and then our season usually starts mid to late March, early April, usually mid to late March, and runs through the summer. It's like 6 games a week. Usually, the schedule for 6 games a week, but some games or some weeks you get 12, even 18, and then it's 2-3 weeks off where you're waiting for other teams to catch up and stuff like that. So baseball and Pathfinder, basically, that's what all these videos are, essentially. So if you like baseball or Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons, you might find something in here that interests you. As far as recommendations go, it's hard to watch, but I'm the most proud of this, though. And I call it the worst Pathfinder Kingmaker playthrough. And I'm being genuine. It's terrible. My commentary is terrible, and the quality is horrible, and the video's hard to watch because everything's so slow. The little comments which is kind of neat. You can now, when you're watching on TV and stuff like that, you can read the video descriptions. Some of them have some funny stuff in there. Some of them are just hard to watch, but the actual finished it after, and I didn't really skip anything. Like, I did things at certain times, like episode 100 I just passed by was owlbears, who cares? I waited till episode 100 to do the 3 greater enraged owlbears from the Swamp Witch's hut. That was kind of cool. What else was kind of cool? Kind of cool coming back from my total party wipe on episode 63, and then played off camera probably for about a month and a half, and got everybody back to the Season of the Bloom, and thought, well, okay, if I can just get past the Season of the Bloom, then get a chance to it was before the Season of the Bloom, that's right. So I stepped into that. That was supposed to be like after the Season of the Bloom. So I stepped into there, got killed, and then I came back, played it all the way up to roughly the same time, skipped that spot, and then went all the way through the Season of the Bloom. And then I got to the end of the Season of the Bloom and turned the power down for the one fight where, yeah, the one fight where you're fighting the one greater enraged owlbear when it divides the party in two. I felt kind of cheaty about turning the power down for that, and then I turned it back up to normal. But I am pretty proud of this one. The actual plays are interesting. Unless you're a fan of the Dynasty Baseball or just like a huge baseball fan in general and looking for a game to play online with maybe your friends or something like that, Dynasty Baseball is interesting. If you watch any of like the regular league things, you see how roughly how the league goes. I've also got like a how-to video how to set your own solo league up. You play against yourself kind of thing. That's pretty much the extent of it. So I'm just going to post this up, not on a particular playlist, but just as a kind of like a top of the channel, if you want to watch it to find out what this is all about, kind of thing. That's where it will be. But I'm going to shut this down and probably play a little Wrath of the Righteous for episode 1001. And if you're a regular viewer, thanks for watching. Cheers.